the topic that we're talking about today is dating with the intention of marriage.
Oh, wow. That's a big one, isn't it?
It is a big one. Because how do you do that? How do you do that? Well, that is what we're here to talk about today. So
yeah, how can you not make marriage the goal? It's hard to like get away from the fact that, okay, I'm interviewing you to be my wife. Do you know what I mean?
But is it though? Well, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. I did a bit of internet research before we talk about it. I did a bit of internet research on this.
Right.
That might be relevant to our conversation. So, first bit of information that I found: it takes 3.7 relationships before finding the one. Apparently,
really?
Apparently so.
Who's having a 0.7 of a relationship though? Like what? Is that like?
I don't know, but the stats say it takes 3.7 relationships.
All right, so you need three long-term relationships and then like a little 6 month thing.
A little yeah.
Okay.
So, but then how long is a full-length relationship? A minimum a year? Is that how it works?
Well, it depends how close you get. I mean, I was with someone for like 4 months, and that felt like serious. But and then you can be with someone for a year and not really connect. It's quite hard to
determine how long. Yeah.
But usually the rule of thumb is probably a year, isn't it, in culture?
I would say so. The top 3 things that people should look for in a partner, this is another statistic and study that's been done, is their foundation, their values, and their communication skills.
Wow.
Apparently people online think that when you date to marry, you end up hurt and more disappointed than when you don't.
Oh, yeah, I can get that. I understand that.
And there's a blog that was circulated, and it spoke about how you shouldn't look at yourself as dating to marry. In fact, you should change the way that you view it. So there's loads of different thoughts out there on this topic of dating to marry and how much you have to date to marry. What do you think? What's your initial thoughts on dating to marry? What does that even mean?
I think, what does it mean? Well, you want to have marriage as the end goal, I think. But for me, it's not very helpful. Like, I think I've had more success when I haven't had, marriage in mind a month in on the second date. I think, I think you're more relaxed if you just see how things go and you're more open. But, yeah, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I would agree. I think not that you shouldn't date with marriage in mind, but I think when you're going into it and immediately you're asking, right, so what's the time frame? When, how long will we be dating before you propose? Well, from my end as a woman, that's what we would be asking. How long am I going to be here? You've only got 2 years before I leave. If you go in immediately saying that because you're dating to marry, that can be I found it could be quite intense. People might be like quite intimidating. But then I guess, how do you make sure that you're dating people and they're not going to waste your time? Because that's
and people lead you on too. Yeah,
people lead you
balance,
on,
isn't it? It is a hard balance. Yeah, it is a hard balance. I mean, ultimately you do, but that is not to say that I think you can date and it not end up in marriage and it still be successful, I think.
True. Oh, that's interesting.
I think just because it doesn't end up in marriage doesn't mean it was a failure. I think.
But is it not? If you're dating to marry and it doesn't end in marriage, then that wasn't a success. You were not successful I
don't think dating to marry is a helpful philosophy. I think obviously I love marriage. I'm an advocate for marriage. I want to get married. Anybody, if there's anybody out there, I want to get married.
Tomorrow, please.
just so you know, yeah, I 100% want to get married, but I don't think it's helpful sometimes. And and like when I've dated people and it has not worked out and we haven't got married, I've still gained stuff from it. I've still grown. I've still like learned stuff about myself where I need to improve. What and also you get more of an idea of what you're actually looking for in a partner. So I don't think it's fate. You can't just write it off if it didn't work out in marriage. That it was a failure. I've wasted all my time. God uses everything, and like
He does.
Yeah,
he does. He does.
Oh, you're not on the same page.
No, I am on the same page. Well, the thing is, I've definitely when relationships haven't ended in marriage, I've thought, well, that was a waste of my life. But
really?
actually, if you do look back and think, how have you grown in that? It wasn't really a waste of your life. No. Is anything ever a waste of your life if you look at it in a particular lens?
Not in God terms. I mean, it definitely feels like it in a worldly term, doesn't it? It can feel like that's a very real feeling, but I don't think it is in terms of God and the Lord. He can he's very good at restoring stuff and redeeming. That's kind of his business, isn't it? But
it is.
Yeah. But then you shouldn't just date just with the intention just to keep dating and just have a long-term relationship. I think marriage is really meaningful. Having a family is really meaningful. I think it's a more meaningful life than a single life, personally. But
I mean, you do hear of so many people say that when they are living a single life and they're just, dating, they do tend to feel emptier. They feel like, what's the point? They get to their 10th, 11th, 12th partner and they're like, well, where's the end goal here? I'm just going from person to person and having these relationships and, you can learn things from them and you can, you learn, but at some point it's enough, It's enough learning. I've learned a lot.
I've graduated. I've graduated
now.
Don't need no more romance, school of romance.
None at all. But I guess, so as Christians, we shouldn't be, because we have to differentiate, I guess, between not dating to marry, but then not dating just to date, just endlessly date.
It's got to lead somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah. It does. How do we make sure then that if we're not going to go into dating feeling like we need to go in immediately and be like, right, when are we getting married? How do we bring this up? When do we bring this up? What's the right point to say, okay, let's start talking about marriage? Do we wait for them to bring it up? Or
I don't know. I've never been in that position. Honestly, I don't know. No, but you're engaged, right?
I am engaged now. Yeah.
Okay. How long did it take? Was it a year? How long did it take for you to start talking about it?
Immediately, to be fair.
What? What?
From the first day.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think as a woman, so what I have done in the past is I've definitely gone into relationships and not asked anything about marriage and then waited for them to bring it up as the man, because the man is supposed to quote unquote lead in that. He's the one that proposes. He's the one that dictates that timeline. I think when women in general, everyone knows that we want to get married. So it's more just on my side. I've seen it as, okay, the woman has to wait for the man. When are you going to be ready? So I've definitely gone into relationships before and not wanting to put that pressure on men, but then it ends up like, when do I bring this up? 6 months down the line, I'm like, right, we haven't spoken about this. When? Then it gets awkward. I've gone into relationships and brought it up too soon, and he gets a bit scared and he's like, and I'm like, sorry. Or I've made a joke and he's been like, why are you joking about that? And I'm like, all right, chill out. I'm not booking any venues, mate. Gosh, what I've found with this guy that I'm with now, I say this guy, my fiance.
This guy, I was going to say, this is your fiance.
my fiance, my future husband.
The current guy.
The current guy, the forever guy, is that he brought it up quite quickly, to be fair. So I didn't have to. And I think he knew that maybe that was something that women stress about. He knew that it was something that as the woman, I find a bit nervous to bring up. And so he off the bat said, right, I am looking for a wife. I want to get married. I want to have kids. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. And I was like,
wow.
okay, cool. And so I could just relax into that, knowing that that's what he's looking for. That's what I'm looking for. And then we got together and we kind of just went along, and we would mention marriage in our timelines. And then a few months down the line, we would mention, yeah, we're planning to get married maybe this time. And then a year later, he proposed. So it was that. It was for me as the woman taking not the back seat, just, I guess, waiting for him to bring this up. In my head, I thought, I'm going to have to bring this up myself if it doesn't come up in conversation within the first few months. I need to know what you want out of life. But also, I think he did a really great job at preempting how I would feel. And as the man, saying, no, this is what I'm looking for. I am looking for a wife. I'm
That's
just seeing if you're it, essentially.
Wow.
And I was like, well, maybe I will be, maybe I won't. But it turns out I was. So
that's a
how
good
we
man.
did it.
That's a good. You got a strong man.
When you get into new, I mean, you said that you've never been in this situation, but if you were to get into a new,
and I'm hosting a dating podcast.
Yeah.
Why?
No one is experts here. Like
no, I don't know why I've been. I haven't. Say I'm an amateur.
We're all amateurs. And
I'm just like, yeah, you should do this. You should definitely don't do that. Do this. And yeah.
But if you were to get into a relationship today, right? If you were, if you were, how would you handle this in terms of bringing this up as the man?
As the man, wow. I mean, just speaking from my own process, I don't know if this is like the God process, right? I don't know if this is the Bible, but I think within 6 months, definitely. I think, like within 6 months of like being an official relationship, and then because I don't want to be like in a relationship for like 2-3 years and not engaged. I mean, and I'm a bit older. I want to kind of crack on. So me personally, I probably would bring it. I wouldn't bring it up right away because I wouldn't want to scare them. But I would say within 6 months. But it depends on how close you are, what the connection is. There's loads of stuff, isn't there? But yeah.
It's interesting that you said that you wouldn't want to scare them, because normally it is the other way around, where women are like, "Oh, I don't want to scare the man."
Oh, really? No, but I'm basically like a rom-com. I love romance. I'm an all or nothing guy. I'm not the typical guy. Like I'm very like all or nothing.
Have you watched How I Met Your Mother?
No, but I've heard it's really good. It's really good, isn't it?
You reminded me of a Ted.
Ted, he's the he's the main guy. The actor who plays Ted?
Oh,
not what, Jason Segel?
I don't know. No, that's Marshall.
That's the guy telling the story.
No. He's just one of the characters. But Ted is the main guy, and he's this hopeless romantic, and he's wanting to get married, and he's just, he's getting into these relationships, they're not working out, and he just...
Yeah. But that's me. I go too quick. I go too quick too soon. I kind of reveal my heart very... I'm trying to get better at guarding my heart, because I like, if I like you, I'm like, this is forever. We're going to let's do this. And then I just reveal too much, and then it becomes too close too quick. And then somebody gets hurt. So I'm honestly trying to get better at being a bit more guarded. But yeah, I don't know if we're meant to. But that is biblical. Guard your heart.
It is biblical. Yeah, no, that's in the Bible. Yeah. Come on, Bible scholar. Come on. Yeah. Man. Look at you.
That is a Christian. Yeah, I'm not that bad of a Christian. that is. That
is a Christian thing. Guarding your heart. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do want to get married. That's my dream. Dream to be a dad. Dream to have a family. That's my biggest dream. So, yeah, I definitely want it to happen. But
you've learned, I guess, over your experiences to not go in too much too soon, to not off the bat be like, right, I want to get married, let's go, because that can...
But I never even did that. I didn't even say, I've never even brought up marriage, with the people I've dated. I've never even brought up marriage. But I think I just probably get, in terms of what I share with a woman, and reveal all the depths of all my dreams, all my flaws, shame. It's probably, I could probably slow it down. Like, you want to work up to something. You don't want to just here's everything on the table straight away.
Yeah, I guess you have to find that balance. You have to find that balance of, giving a little bit so that they don't feel like you're not interested, but also not giving so much that if it were to end, because you never know what's going to happen. If it were to end,
that's what happened. And like, that's what happened last time. It's like, it ended. It's like, oh, I've actually just told you, like, I've actually revealed a lot, and like, we've connected a lot. And it's like, we wasn't even dating that long, but it's like, it still feels tough because I've shared too much too soon, like what the relationship warranted. So I'm trying to get better at that. What does the relationship warrant at the moment? Does it warrant
That's a good
like a £200 meal at a fancy restaurant? Does it warrant me?
Always.
Food
is always very important.
Yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. What does it warrant? And I guess taking it back to dating to marry, if you feel as though that conversation is warranted, because it's not warranted on the first minute of talking to someone. No, it might not be warranted in the first week or even the first month, but in the first 6 months, at some point that is going to be warranted to say.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I would say communication is key for you have to be able to communicate. If someone can't communicate, that is the biggest turn off. Like, and it's the biggest sign of immaturity is, can they communicate, I think. And that is high. That's a good one to, that is definitely up there. That's up there with being a mum, I think.
Yeah. But what is, okay, so when you're first getting to know someone, what are some of the signs that they're not effective communicators? Because it can't just be that they don't reply to our messages straight away, because that's not, there has to be something more than, they didn't respond.
Yeah, that is annoying. That is annoying though. But like, how they do conflict, I think, is very, very important. Communicate how they're feeling about the relationship too. Like, where are they at? Yeah, like, where are you at? Just be honest. Like, it doesn't mean the relationship has to not continue, but like, just be really clear, like, how you're feeling, just where you're at, because otherwise we just assume negative. And yes,
you are very, very correct. I was going to say, as women, we can often do this thing where we do this, we get annoyed about something and then we're like, we're fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And we're not fine at all. We're not fine.
Yeah.
We're not. Actually, we're very far from.
Yeah, but it's all right to be like that. It's all right to be like that. But like, you have to eventually, like, say, like,
but is it all right to be like that though? I don't know.
No,
if
like,
it is.
For a little bit, maybe. For a little bit, when you're a bit annoyed.
How long is a little bit? Like a day?
No, not a day. Well, no, not a day.
What's the time frame here? Just so I know.
A day? No way. Oh my gosh. I had this. My parents had a rule, like, never go to sleep on a bad vibe, an argument. So I would, it would have to be resolved by the end of the day, I think.
Okay.
Have a clean slate by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
No, I would agree. So now we're running through different values that if you are going to date, and you're dating to marry, which, as we've said, is not that you're going to marry everyone that you date, because that's not possible. But you want to date people that if it were to end in marriage, it would be nice. Because I think one thing that people might do, and I've definitely sometimes done this, and I know friends that have done this, where they've been in really bad relationships, but because they're dating to marry, quote unquote, the person would do some terrible things, but they think, I have to stick it out because we're dating to marry. No, if someone does something terrible, you just leave. You go, because actually you're dating to marry, and they've proven that they are not to marry.
There's such a pressure to get married, and like, especially when you hit a certain age, like, people would rather just settle and get married, rather than actually not have the guts to, like, start over. And
that is true. It is hard, because I think the older you get, the more you don't want to just start all over again, and it seems like a big chore.
There's less time.
You get
don't
panicky.
want to waste the investment of the years that
you don't want to do that,
especially for women. Like, women is completely different, isn't it?
It is. But I would definitely say, listen, women, honestly, the quicker you can leave the person that is not treating you great, the quicker you can find the person that will. And that is speaking from absolute experience. I was in a terrible relationship. He wasn't faithful. I left. And everyone's, I was 29, about to turn 30. I was stressed. I was like, at 30, we should be, getting married, but that didn't happen. And within, I would say, a year, I met my now fiance, and now we're engaged.
Wow.
And that is literally the story of my life.
Come on, Lord.
So come on, Lord. Come on now.
That's amazing.
So, you can't be scared. And I know that it's hard, and I know that you get panicky, and I know that starting again feels really long. But honestly, the quicker you can just say, right, I've dated to marry, and this person is not someone that I want to marry because they're doing things that I don't like. That doesn't mean that you haven't been dating to marry. That means that you've seen if they are someone that you would want to marry. They've shown that they're not. You leave. And yeah, it's scary starting again, but it's the quicker you can do it, and the quicker you can just say, right, let's go. Let's try this again. Let's find someone else who, has good values, and we connect, and they can communicate, and they love God, and they want what I want. And then we just see where it goes. And if it ends in marriage, that's great. So yeah, it's not that if you are dating to marry, you stick with people that are terrible to you because you're dating to marry. Please don't do that. That's the only bit of advice that I would give, and I would say I can stand by that. Please do not stay with people that are bad just because you feel like you should, because you're dating to marry. No, don't do that.
But do you think the church puts pressure on people to get married? Like, I feel like marriage and family is like kind of a success marker of like being a Christian, isn't it? Like
it is, and I don't like that. To be fair, I think people get married and all of a sudden they become like a sage. They know everything.
No, don't idolize it. But I do think it is better than. But Jesus and Apostle Paul, they were single, weren't they? But I don't know. I just I would really like to get married, but.
I think you have to be reasoned with it. If you want to get married, you have to keep doing steps to get you there.
Yeah, you got to keep working on yourself. Yeah, you got to keep doing.
You got to keep working on yourself. You have to just keep doing the things that matter, like going on dates, talking to new people, meeting new people. Not making it the forefront of your life. Like, I will die if this doesn't happen. You got to have something going on in your life. You got to have like a mission. You got to have something to invite them into. Like if you're just like full, like if seek first the kingdom and everything will be added. If you're seeking first the wife, it's just that's not the right priority. And have something going on in your life. Do like building something, doing something that's not just all about dating and trying to find a partner, I think. But I think you need a mission before you need a missus. That's what I would say. Oh, that's a good one. You need a mission before you need a missus.
Yeah, you need a mission before you need a missus, I think. I think you need something to go after, and then you can invite them in to like come beside you. But
I like that. Did you come up with that?
I made that up.
Did you really make that up, or did you get that from like a Pastor Mike?
No, I made that.
It sounds very Pastor Mike Todd.
It is very Mike Todd, isn't it? No, that's a Robbie M legit. That's a Robbie M original. That is.
So I came across this article by Medium, and it said, to make sure that you're not just dating to marry for the wrong reasons. And it says, number one, is it a good idea to get married right now? Are you financially independent? Are you freshly heartbroken? Are you feeling pressured to get married? If so, maybe don't. Just rush into something very quickly. Have you decided that you want a wife or a husband because you're bored, or because you don't want to be the single person among your married friends, or are being pressured into it, or you see yourself having kids in a few years? Which is interesting, because I think some people do think, I need to just get married. And so they'll just marry anyone, because that's what they think they should be doing right now.
I think I disagree with the financial one. I mean, obviously you can't be broke, but I think, don't wait till you're just really comfortable to get married. I think, I don't know. There's more to just have like being relaxed and having a lot of money. Like, I think family is more meaningful than that, I think.
So let's just do a quick roundup, and then the titles can play. So if you are dating with the intention to marry, what we have found helpful is if you let someone know, or you have that conversation, very casual. Don't put too much pressure on it within the first few months. So you say, I do want to get married in life. I'm just seeing if you're the person for me. Simple. You date people that, have good values, that you connect with, they communicate effectively, just people that are solid. What was the thing that it said in that thing? It said solid foundation. Communicate effectively. They share your values. So, you're dating people to marry, and they're good people that if it does end up in marriage, it's great. If you are in a relationship and it's not going well, don't think you have to stay in it because you're dating to marry and it has to end in marriage. No, just leave. Honestly, just get out, start again. It's all right.
That was that's a good one.
Take your lessons and find a new person. And yes, that is where we got to.